Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Okay, I'm testing this out. I got a bit of a delay from what I'm looking at here, but that's okay. Um, so I'm coming back. Let me move this here. Okay, I think I'm good. I'm trying something new. I'm trying this OBS Studio. Trying to stream on a shoestring budget. Trying not to pay too many people to do things. So I'm gonna see how this works out. Hello, YouTube. This is the Puny Giant. I ain't been here in a while. And I've been brought back out from under the woodwork once again. If you recall, in 2020, that's pretty much when I started my channel, and I witnessed the moral panic of 2020 surrounding George Floyd, the pandemic, and began to notice some things happening amongst people, interactions between people, and started to become concerned, and I guess by God's grace started to grow in my understanding of some things, and wanted to share back then to try to lend a voice, a helping voice to the panic, and try to bring some calm, at least in my little sphere of influence. Well, here we go again. A very public Christian, who many call a political activist, was murdered, was taken out on a college campus several days ago. And that's disturbing enough, but looking at what's happened in the wake of it is just increases the disturbance in my soul when I examine it. So I figured I'd test this stream out, see how it works out, and also share a few things that I have on my heart regarding it. I'm not going to be here long. Just want to point us first of all to Scripture. This is something that I talk to a lot of people about. I talk to my family, my friends, my congregation about. In the ESV, the English Standard Version, it's probably a less familiar rendition of it. Most of us are very familiar with the King James Version. Proverbs 4 verse 23. Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flow the springs of life. So, of course, in the King James it says, guard your heart. Guard your heart. Keep your heart. Protect your heart. If you don't do it, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble with regard to your soul, with regard to your, and subsequent to that, as a result of that, your interactions with God, your relationship with God, and downstream from that is how you interact or relate to other people. I mean, it's really that simple. It's not very deep. And what are we talking about when we're talking about the heart? Well, what I like to do, just to kind of give a little bit of proximity of what we're dealing with when we're dealing with the heart. When I say guard your heart, or I speak to matters of the human heart, not the physical blood pumping organ, but the philosophical, the symbolic heart. What I like to do when I talk to people, especially in my congregation, I like to point to my head. Guard your heart. Guard your heart. Keep your heart Guard what you are thinking. Guard what you take in. Guard what you listen to. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in a world of trouble with regard to your heart and the condition of your soul. Your heart will become darkened and hardened, and your inability to relate to God as you ought to is going to lead to your inability to relate to other people as you ought to think about other people as you ought to, and that's ultimately going to lead to judgment. It's going to lead to the judgment of your soul. So make sure you guard your heart. As it relates to what's happening now, what troubles me is there is a blatant disregard for the doctrine, the reality of the Imago Dei, the fact that we are all made in the image of God. And this particular aspect of our creation, it is so profound and so important that I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 9 and verse 6. And what do you know? It stands alone in this Bible program. This Bible program is Zephos, by the way, for those who might be interested. It is a free program. It's open source. So the source code is open to the public if you want to get under the hood. If you're a software developer and you want to see how it works and how it functions, you can do a lot of stuff with it. But it's free. It's not the Lamborghini that is Logos, but it does the job. So whoever sheds the blood of man, Genesis 9:6, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. So when I read that verse, and when it really hit me the first time, this idea of being made in God's image and how important it is, when I read that, I realized, wow, it's as if God is standing there and saying, you better not touch this, because if you do, you're going to die. That's how important his image is. And that's how important human life is, because human life is attached to being made in his image. That's why we are all important. That's why we all have value and dignity and worth. Not because I'm a man, not because this other person's a woman, not because someone's of Asian, African, European descent, Latin American. It doesn't matter where we come from on this globe. The overarching principle that gives us all our value and our worth and our dignity is the fact that we're made in the image of God. Well, unfortunately, that's been forgotten by a lot of people right now, especially the ones who are celebrating. They're either celebrating it or they're showing, they're expressing apathy with regard to the murder of Charlie Kirk. And I'm not even going to get into the weeds of a lot of the political discussions surrounding that. I'll point you to Brother Seiko, and I got a post I want to share of his that really it shines a light on one of the things that I've said about this as well. But let me see if I can switch this up here. Alright. So one of the things that make that go away. And again, I'm testing this out. I'm going to get a background at some point, hopefully. But one of the things that struck me, that I noticed in a lot of people's responses, is this. Unfortunately, some of you have been ideologically possessed For you, the decency of condolences for the families of the deceased in recognition of their humanity takes a backseat to getting that next political pot shot. If you call yourself a Christian, take a moment to reflect on the doctrine of the Imago Dei. Please, I beseech you. Hashtag Imago Dei. Hashtag Let Us Reason. I've seen a lot of people interacting with others and expressing their thoughts and their views regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination as if they are truly ideologically possessed. They're viewing this whole matter through the lens of whatever political persuasion they may belong to or subscribe to. The Imago Dei, the consideration that Charlie Kirk was made in the image of God, that his wife and his two small children are made in the image of God, and that not only has his image been his physical life been taken from him, but he has been destroyed. He has been destroyed, but his family is hurting right now as well. His family is hurting. And they're made in God's image. That matters. It matters tremendously. But a lot of people don't care about that right now. And it's because whatever political ideology they subscribe to has taken over, and they're not thinking the way God would have them to think regarding the life of someone who was taken out of here maliciously. But again, I said I wasn't going to be here long. Let's see here. I also want to show this here, and this was kind of a progression of my thoughts. I kept seeing posts by people, by old friends and people I've known over the years, some of them growing up, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, what in the world are we doing? And some of them even call themselves Christians. So I said, America has mind screwed many black people, even among those who claim to be Christians. It has been a decades-long process, and recent events have revealed the effectiveness. The unfortunate reality is that most who are suffering from this have no idea, and it's true. They have no idea they're suffering. They have no idea they've been mind screwed. They have no idea they have been gaslit. They have been ideologically and morally subverted. Their moral compass, in some respects, is turned upside down to the point where there is absolutely no recognition of the very basic, elementary, foundational truth of the Imago Dei. It's not even an afterthought. It's all about this person belonged to this political party and a lot of whataboutisms and all of that stuff. What about the life of this individual that was taken unjustly? What about that? And what does God think about that? So again, I'm not going to get into the political aspect of it, at least not right now. But this is especially prevalent amongst us, black folk. And I sure enough want to speak to what I think is the reason why. I'm not going to go down. I'm not going to get into those weeds right now, but I believe I understand why. But if you call yourself a Christian, you need to examine your heart. Take a second look. Make sure you're seeing this thing clearly. Make sure you're seeing it rightly before you make your next post. Because one thing that a lot of people of a particular political persuasion like to say is, I want to be on the right side of history. Oh my goodness. What you have to be concerned about now, with the way you're responding and the way a lot of people are responding to this particular event, is whether or not you're going to be on the right side of eternity. Because this is dealing with matters of the heart. And what you don't understand is that you take in all of this bad information, you take in all of this vitriol, you don't actually seek out what's true and what's real and what's actual. One of the things that gets us in trouble when it comes to this is we consume data, we consume information, we consume with respect to our intellect like birds, like baby birds. And how do baby birds eat? The mama bird or the papa bird goes out, finds food, finds worms, chews it up, digests it, and then just spits it out into the baby bird's mouth. We're not supposed to be consuming like that. We're not birds. We're human beings, which means we go from the mother's milk to eventually meat. And we learn to chew on things ourselves. That's why we grow teeth. And there's some parallels there with regard to how we function intellectually and mentally, psychologically. So instead of letting everybody regurgitate into your mouth their own interpretation of things, go to the horse's mouth and get the information yourself, and then figure out yourself, okay, what did this person say and what did they mean? Instead of getting everybody's editorialized version of it, and they have their ulterior motives, they have motives for doing that, they have a goal in mind, and unfortunately, many of us fall for it. And everybody does. Everybody of every shade does in America. But one thing I like to call my own ethnic kin, and I know some, once they hear me talk enough, they'll probably say, you're not kinfolk, you're just skinfolk. Okay, that's fine. I still love my ethnic kin. And one thing I know is that we tend to be, in the terms of how things function socially in America, we tend to be the canary in the coal mine. And many of you, I'm sure, understand what the canary in the coal mine is. It's kind of it's the warning signal. Something bad is happening. That canary falls off of its perch in the cage, then we better get out of here, because now, eventually, the rest of us are going to fall if we don't. We see that kind of thing happening when it comes to many of the social ailments of our day. I'll just mention one in particular, one that a lot of people like to bring up, single parenthood. The percentages. It may be a bit of a higher percentage when it comes to black folk, but it's also affecting every other group as well. And I think I got some. I'm gonna need some time to develop my thoughts on this, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that not only are we smaller in number, but we're also smaller in resources, and that's why it tends to affect us the most. But I'll digress from that right now. But we tend to be the ones. What is the line in the movie X? We've been hoodwinked, bamboozled. I'ma tell you, he wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. And unfortunately, that hoodwinking and that bamboozlement that we've experienced over the years, we're seeing the results of it even now, right now. And it's very pronounced right now, unfortunately. I'll show you just one case in point, and then I'm gonna get off of here. I gotta watch my Tar Heels. I know they're not that good now, but even with the Super Bowl winning coach, but oh well. This here, Brother Seiko. Oh my goodness! And I'm gonna have to open this up in another place here on my screen, just so I can read it. I hope it's big enough for y'all to read. If not, then I'll see if I can read it. Crazy. And this is not the only person doing this. This is not the only person. And you don't even have to be a Christian, or even profess to be a Christian, to have basic human decency. I mean, you really don't. Um, Here it goes. This demented demon made a video calling on viewers not only to assassinate Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica, but also her little children and the rest of Charlie's family. I guess she realized she messed up and took the video down, but being the receptologist that I am, and I'm trying to get my degree in receptology, I decided to capture her entire video and send it to the FBI. It's the least I could do. You know, in case they'd like to interview her for an audition of America's Dumbest Criminals. Hey, Norvie Bell, you dropped something. Apparently that's her name. This is what not guarding your heart, a blatant disregard for the Imago Dei, being subverted. I have very little doubt that some of this is motivated by assumptions based on news and social media, clips, clickbait videos and whatnot, portraying Charlie Kirk as someone of a particular ilk, possibly racist. You know, I saw even Charleston White on X just spew out vulgarity, saying that he couldn't give a flip. He don't care because Charlie Kirk didn't care about black people. Why should he care about him? This is the mentality that we've been driven toward with this ideological subversion we've experienced over the past several decades, this demoralization. It's serious, and it happens, and it can happen. We make ourselves susceptible to it when we don't guard our hearts, when we're not careful. I'll read this, then I'm gonna get off of here. Just as a matter of application, first step, guarding your heart. Watching not only what you take in, but also making sure you have the proper filters for what you take in. That you're able to make sense of it, right sense of it. You're able to chew the meat and spit out the bones. You're able to test all things and hold fast to that which is good instead of holding fast to the poison, which a lot of people do. Here's the first step. Blessed is the man. And let me go here. Let me open it up. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. And of course, you can't meditate on something if you haven't read it, if you haven't exposed your mind to it. And of course, the way we expose our mind to the law of God is we read it. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. In all that he does, he prospers. The wicked are not so, but are like chaff that the wind drives away. Therefore, the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. Guard your hearts. Because if you find yourself outside of that congregation of the righteous, and you're walking in the way of the wicked, and that walking in the way of the wicked, and this is something eventually I'll get into on my channel probably. It begins with your heart. It begins with your heart. If you find yourself in that, you will eventually perish. I don't want that for you. And my heart hurts for anybody in that situation, but especially what I'm seeing now with my own ethnic kin. Come on, black people. Come on, think. especially if you call yourself a Christian. Stop and think and pray and ask the Lord if he would have you to do and say the things that you're doing and saying right now in response to this man's murder. Please, I beseech you. The Imago Dei. Think about it. If you don't understand it, go study it. Find out about it, please. Until next time.